guest is an award-winning journalist, best-selling author, and a political and national correspondent for NBC News. He executive produced the Emmy-nominated documentary Separated, based on his book Separated: Inside an American Tragedy. Please welcome back to the show our friend Jacob Soboroff, everybody. Jacob, I'm so happy you're here. I'm mostly happy you're here because I feel like you deserve to be in an air-conditioned studio.
Oh, feels so good.
Every time I see you, it's like wildfires, ice protests, raids. You're just sort of everywhere. It's sort of fully chaotic. I feel like Jacob's in the center of it.
The air conditioning feels nice. I'll just put it that way. Thank you.
By the way, I'm not the only one who noticed it. You posted a photo of your watch, basically saying "demanding day." How often is your watch telling you?
You've had a demanding day. It's important to get plenty of sleep after days like this. And there's my gas mask right under it.
Yeah. And I almost feel like the watch should say, like, also I've noticed a gas mask.
Yeah,
and you should be in more places where you don't need that.
It's been pretty crazy, but it's my favorite part about my job is I get to spend it with people who have skin in the game, and it's just been an extraordinary privilege, whether it's the fires or the protests, all of it.
You, absolutely. It's a privilege for us to be there. So, you were here in 2018. You wrote a book called Separated about Trump's deportation policy in his first term. And now, obviously, you're covering his second term. How do you, having been so close to it, and Separated, by the way, for those who are interested, a wonderful documentary directed by Errol Morris, who's one of the best in the business. But how does it differ first term, second term, as far as you see it?
I think what they're carrying out right now is exactly what Stephen Miller wanted to do during the first term. You know, they separated deliberately 5,500 kids from their parents, as we talked about last time I was here. And Stephen Miller wanted to take it far beyond that. He wanted to do tens of thousands of kids. And he was stopped because people came to the streets, much like they're doing today, and protested, and he had to back down. Trump had to back down. Today, it's mass deportation. But what is mass deportation? Mass deportation is family separation by another name. They're not separating children from their parents at the border. They're taking parents away from their children in the interior in a way that is orders of magnitude actually greater than what they did last time because of the amount of people that it affects. And it isn't, the point I really want to make is it's not what they said it was going to be, which is the worst of the worst. It's a landscaper with 3 sons who are Marines. Narciso Barranco. It is day laborers at Home Depot. It's people in the strawberry fields of Oxnard who are running through the fields with Black Hawk choppers circling them overhead. It's everyday working people who live in our communities.
You mentioned this father, 3 sons in the Marines, and we've seen all these videos, and you've done a great job of posting them, where we watch, sort of people getting absconded into, ICE vehicles. In your reporting, what happens after that?
The conditions are exactly as you would imagine. So Mr. Barranco told his son, Alejandro, who I talked to on Nicole Wallace's show on Deadline White House the other day, that he has been sitting in a cell in downtown Los Angeles with 70 other guys, hasn't showered, hasn't changed his clothes, his eyes still hurt from the pepper spray that they sprayed in his eyeballs, the blood is still on his clothes, and he doesn't know when or if he's going to get out. It's the conditions that we saw, by the way, and in all fairness, during Democratic and Republican administrations inside these types of facilities. And that's part of the problem, is that there hasn't been some kind of wholesale departure from the system. And it does feel a little bit like deja vu.
So I guess the most worrying thing is, they pull back in the last term because they started to lose the public's trust and support on the terrible optics. And yet now they sort of double down with a different kind of terrible optics. Do you think that there's a chance that these protests will be effective with an administration that obviously sort of doesn't seem to care much about the immorality of what they're trying to execute?
I think there's no doubt about it. Why did family separation end? Hundreds of thousands of people came to the streets to protest, not in a bipartisan way, but in a universal way. The Pope spoke out at the time. I think there were millions of people around the world. And when Trump stopped that policy at that time, he said, I didn't like the sight and the feeling of the families being separated. He was responding to the images that he was seeing. He's already flip-flopped on the farmers and the hotel workers and all that. And I think stories like Mr. Barranco's, I think the stories that are coming out, I think the most inspiring thing to me is the people in the streets. I mean, I was out there in LA when there were 20,000 people, by the way, peacefully protesting in the streets of LA.
Yep.
And the thing about my job is I get to present the facts as they are, and that's what's beautiful about it. We've been able to do so much live coverage, especially on MSNBC, of what's really happening. What's really happening is people are coming out and basically saying, we're not going to stand for this anymore.
Well, I certainly appreciate their efforts, and I also appreciate your optimism. Usually this is the time where I'm like, hey, this is another fun thing you got going on, because I want to change the tone. You wrote a book about the fires, Jacob. But you have had just such a traumatic time, and yet that I see you on TV, and you bring me hope, because I feel like you have this ability to work through things that have been terrible, not just for everyone, but like specifically for you. You know, so again, you're reporting something that just had this, like, obviously this profound effect on your family and the home you grew up in. What has your reporting for this book been like? Does it feel, I don't know, is it cathartic for you to write about it? Or?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sort of still working through it. It'll come out in January. How do you process, you know, covering in real time, you're watching your whole childhood community like carbonized in front of your own eyes?
Yeah.
I don't think I could. I didn't. And this will be the most costly wildfire in the history of the United States of America. And so what I wanted to do was have a deeper understanding of what this really was. And what I think it really was the fire of the future. I think more than, weirdly for me, I thought it was I'm looking at my past burned down. But it's what, sadly, it's what our own children will be faced with. But I will say, just like being out with the people during the protest, it's very inspiring how people are coming back. People are really resilient. And I'm learning a lot about, it's a love letter to LA as much as it is to, anything else. I love my city more than ever. And these two events have made me feel that way.
Well, it's certainly, I think from a distance, I think the whole country feels that way.
Yeah.
Like, I think the resiliency of LA has been on full display. We've been showing clips of you here a great deal in the past few months. You had an interview, with Governor Gavin Newsom, where he was sort of reacting to some of the, pretty unflattering things the president was saying about him. You do approach a lot of politicians, and you have to have a certain level of nerve to be able to do that. You sort of honed this skill at a young age, doing a totally different kind of journalism.
I was a red carpet host for the AMC channel.
Okay.
And there is no more humbling job than trying to get Seth Meyers to talk to you on the red carpet when he really wants to go inside.
I really want to go inside. I want to see that Mad Men premiere,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So bird dogging elected officials, I think I learned a lot by having to chase celebrities.
I will say, I have a lot of empathy for the red carpet reporter, because there's so many lined up, and they're all just trying to do their job. And the amount that, you just probably had to just stand there with a microphone and yell out,
You too, red carpet correspondents, can interview Tom Homan one day, ladies and gentlemen.
Tom Homan, since you mentioned him, he said 75% of the people that are being deported are criminals.
Yeah.
Has your reporting supported that number?
No.
Okay.
No. And in fact, we put some new reporting out this week, my colleague Julia Ainsley, that said it's a very small percentage of the people that they've ultimately gone and found. I mean, about all that, I just can't emphasize enough. These are everyday people who live in our communities, who have mixed status families, American citizen children. They're in our schools, in our churches, they're our neighbors, they're our fellow parishioners, our classmates. That's who they're going after right now, at Home Depot, in the fields, in workplaces, and that's the reality of it all.
Because I think it's safe to say that if there was a level of due process and, murderers were being deported, this would not be an issue where people would be taken to the streets.
As Errol Morris always said, when we made the film, nobody's saying we shouldn't have borders. Nobody's saying that violent criminals shouldn't be taken off the street. It's about humanity, is what it's about. And I guess the way that I feel when I watch all this, when I see the videos, the incredible citizen journalism that's happening every day. I'm trying to repost as many of these videos as I can. It makes you feel inspired that people know that there's human beings behind all this. And that's what I hope we remember, we take away from all this.
Well, we really appreciate you getting those stories out there. It's always so great to see you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Jacob Soboroff, everybody. Separated is available on demand. Keep an eye out for the book. We'll be right back with Mike Trucker.